Hello, 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 and welcome, my Capricorn Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury signs. Welcome to your Mercury Retrograde reading. For this Mercury Retrograde, February into March, we are looking at the 16th of February until the 9th of March, which is, by the way, full moon in Virgo, interestingly enough, considering Virgo is ruled by Mercury. By the way, I'm your reader. I'm Archangela Lyons, Mal for short. Welcome to my channel, Professional Witch, Professional Intuitive, president of DrawingTheCircle Productions since 1998, still going strong. I'm very, very happy to be reading for you today. If you're new to my channel, please do like and subscribe. Making my way to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm fun, trust me. You want to see what I'm going to do with Super Live Chat once I hit 1,000 plus a little bit more. I am a Virgo. I like the little wiggle room, right? Actually, there's a video in the description box below clarifying junk tarot, which is something I want to do once a month or so once I get Super Live Chat, so go check that out too. It's my favorite vid of 2019. Let's get down to business for this reading though, shall we? This is a general read. You have to say it every single time. May not fit everybody all the time. Some of my viewers I'm nailing every single time I read them. That's great, but that's all of the people some of the time. It's hard to get all of the people all of the time. Oopsie, doopsie. Sorry, just my kicked a switch there. Everything's back up. Good. That said, check your other signs. That's why I do Sun, Moon, Rising, and in this case, Mercury signs. Check out your astrology for that, because it's probably going to be helpful. Mine is in Libra, along with my Venus. I have Mars-Venus conjunct. Third house, Leo rising. Yeah, in Libra. Not that you care, but there you have it, right? So you know I know my shit. Let's get down to biz. This Mercury retrograde reading, though, is about how this Mercury retrograde is for you, not against you, because it's just so funny. The planet doesn't even actually go backwards. I wish people understood that. It doesn't really hit the brakes, go in reverse, and then go forward. It's an optical illusion due to orbits. Not all orbits are the same, right? They can't be. They crash into each other, the planets and all. So it's interesting because it is Mercury, the mind, right? Air planet, air god, Hermes. I got him sitting right here, kind of whispering in my cerebral cortex, actually, if we want to go there. So being that it's an optical illusion, it's all about how you think about it, sure. Bad time to sign contracts? Yeah, because it's time to relook at things symbolically, to make sure that all of the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted. And plus the way we think of things might be radically different once it goes direct. Just how that goes. But it's also a time of reflection, right? Rethinking, reestablishing, recontemplating. It's a good time for reflection. That's really how I do it, to look things over, to come at it from a different viewpoint, and perhaps, have some reconciliations along the way. There's all sorts of stuff that goes on. Mercury retrograde, ex-boyfriend flash flood seems to be a theme of mine, but we'll see this time around. Last couple of times it came around and brought me my past life son Anthony. So there you go. You never know what's going to happen. So this is how it's happening for you, not to you, right? So that you can play the game, but that's a mental attitude adjustment. So last thing I'm going to say before I get into the reading, I think you'll like it. We're doing the element spread, fire, earth, air, water, spirit, which is why it is very important that we all be consciously aware of our breath as we do this. We're going to breathe anyway, but the more we can be consciously aware of our own breath as we go, the more in the present moment we'll be, the more that we can receive the reading. I'm trying to do that more and more. Breath work is a huge part of not just my spiritual practice, but part of my self-care. I've been doing it. Wim Hof breathing and, prana and rebirthing, just everything. I did quit smoking a bunch of months ago, so just seems like the natural thing to do. But if you're doing the same, you're finding the same still point where divinity resides in the present moment, tuning to the reading from inside yourself while I'm doing the same, and being a bit more yang, giving you what I receive so you can take it in. Cool. Oh, I studied with a Sufi master back in the 90s, really briefly, just one encounter. It wasn't like a tutelage or anything like that. and he taught me the 4 elemental breaths: fire, earth, air, water. So the one, because there are 4 ways to breathe in: nose, mouth, mouth, nose, etc. So the one for earth is the grounding one. It would make sense: in through the nose, out through the nose. So as an earth sign myself, a Virgo, I'm going to do myself to use that breath with you. I've been doing it for each sign. So if you're doing the same, notice that it really does calm you down. It's the smallest openings for air to get in and leave, so it does slow it down. Let's do this. Nice deep breath. Oh, that's lovely. We're going to do fire, earth, air, water, spirit, the element spread, starting with the Daughters of the Moon Tarot to represent the voices of my pantheon, my gods and goddesses. All the decks that I read are in the description box below, so please go have a look-see, dook-see if you are interested in them. Oh, 1 second, please. That was my mistake. I should have done that before. I apologize for that. My cats have this water cube thing, and when it runs out of water, it makes, that noise. So I was like, oh, I just had to go put some water in it. So what we're going to do, fire, earth, air, water, spirit here. Daughters of the Moon Tarot for both the divine masculine, the divine feminine, the gods, the goddesses, however you want to see that. But it's really looking at what do you need to relook at your desire, your what you have. You'll see. I'll call it out as we go. But we're going to get these 5 down first, and we're going to clarify with the Healing with the Angels Oracle cards. So that'll be 5, then 10. We'll get you card number 11 from the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack, Voices of the Divine Ascended Masters, from your Higher Self Whisper of Love Oracle card, just 1, and then we will end with a Healing Mantra deck card by Matt Kahn. So 13 cards in total, which I thought was kind of cool. When they gave me the spread last night, I was like, oh, and I did it for myself, and I was like, oh, I have that one saved on my phone. Yeah. Ready? Let's breathe. Still point. Oh, my gods. Here we go. My gods and goddesses, please. Top 5 cards, element spread for this Capricorn collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury signs. What do they need? What do they need to know about? Show me this Mercury retrograde for them, so that they know what to look at, to review in terms of their fire, their desire, what they have, where they are, their earth, to help them get what they want, their desire, what they're thinking, element of air, right? Got to rethink what we're thinking, re-look at, re-experience, revisit, water, what we're feeling, and please, for the card of spirit, a viewpoint, a point of view from the soul, from the spirit, to view all of this from perhaps some higher ground, some higher viewpoint. My gods, please. Got it. Thank you so much. Maiden, Mother, Crone. Here we go. Top 5 cards. I'll do that same shuffle for the angels, but let's see where you are. Element of fire from my Cappies. What is it that you need to? Okay, interesting. Now, in the element of fire, you've got the card of criticism. Now, nobody wants criticism unless you're talking about, like real microscopic focus, like critical care unit or critical thinking or critical writing, or you sort of get the idea. Really finite detail orient. Teeny tiny fractions and fractals and integers, oh my, you sort of get the idea, kind of the splitting of hairs, the microscopic. So since that's not something that nobody really wants necessarily to go into, then the indication here is for the element of fire that you need to be somewhat critically observant of what it is that you desire. Maybe not just for the what, but the why. And I think that's where people, and I read a lot of people and they say they want something, and I ask them why, and they either are a little out of touch with why. It's like, well, I don't, isn't that what, right? So they have to feel around for it. So a bit more import there, as well as sometimes they know exactly why, but they don't want to admit why because it's a shadow. Why? Like, we all want what we want, but why? Right? Is it to medicate a wound, or is it to grow, heal, learn, and evolve? And really, the Course in Miracles, gotta say, says, if anything, ask the question, what is it for? Because it's either for love or for fear. Does it heal? Does it help? Remember, we got angel cards going to go on top of this later, but let's get these 5 out first. So interesting to re-look, right, with a bit of a more critical eye. Now, they are reminding me that the 9 of Swords, because they just flash it in my third eye sometimes. The 9 of Swords in the Rider-Waite deck really are those sleepless nights. It's that obsessive thought and thinking where if you think of all of these arrows pointing in, that can even be about self-criticism. Why anybody would want that, don't know. That's why it's kind of more saying really get into the detail more of if your mind is being obsessive, like what is at the heart of that obsession, so to speak. Good time to go back and look at things like this. So your element of earth, lovely. What you have is compassion. So in terms of being compassionate with yourself, and for me, compassion begins and ends with this. Everybody's doing the best that they can. Everybody is fighting a hard battle. Be kind, myself included. As a matter of fact, when we are self-critical, like this might be something that as a Capricorn you just do. Lord knows as an earth sign I am prone to it myself as a Virgo. Come on, criticism? We're sort of known for it, right? Like in descriptions of Virgo, think critical. I'm familiar. But really, as mean as anyone or as extra critical as anyone has ever been towards me, nothing compared to how brutal I can be on myself, right? So that thing of compassion, be kind, be compassionate with yourself. The 6 of Cups, emotional balance. Now, in this picture, we've got a woman laying down the beach, right? Looks like they're on sand. 5 other friends helping her heal, sort of like a hands-on healing thing. And if you look in the waves, it's these nereids, these like water nymphs offering their cups. So there's a big outpouring of compassion here, right? To understand that everybody's got their pain that they're in, that everybody's got something that they're critical about themselves or in something in life. And to let the emotion flow through that. That might not be comfortable, right? One would think. But to give yourself a little break and get that you're doing the best that you can, to be a little bit more gentle on yourself, heart-centered, unless this criticism is about really focusing on something really, really magnificent. And we'll get there. But maybe there needs to be a revision of thought when you revisit the topic, so to speak. Let's go to the element of air. Essential. It's Mercury, air sign. A lot of thoughts about what? A 2 of Cups. All right, the whirlpool. Yeah, that attraction to each other, like being drawn together by centrifugal force. Centrifugal force pulls you in. Yes, centrifugal throws you out. No, it's I forget. My mother is a teacher. She's going to be so mad that I forgot that. But I do remember stalagmites and stalactites, because when the mites go up, the tights come down. Mnemonic devices raised by a teacher. 2 of Cups. Yeah, attraction. Is it true love? Who the hell knows? It's attraction, but it's in the mind, the whirlpool in the mind. So I could see where that could be a little obsessive, a little critical, a little hair splitty, a little trying to catch every detail going on. Perhaps what is on your mind right now is an attraction of one kind or another. Maybe it's romantic, maybe it's not. 2 of Cups doesn't immediately scream romance to me either, as much as it means 2 emotional fields, at least in this card of the whirlpool, as far apart as possible, but being drawn together slowly, slowly, slowly on an inevitable trajectory to the center and meeting, right? Which would then bring forth the 3. So that's an interesting card to get there. Let's see what we've got in the emotional, since 2 of your 3 cards are water cards. Should be interesting to what you need to kind of revisit, re-look at within the emotional field. 9 of Flames. Now, 9 of Flames, if you think of this card as the, in the Rider-Waite right? The dude with the sticks, just like, don't come near my shit, man. I'm going to hit you with my stick. This is a little bit different. This is the wanderer, right? She's got her wagon, her gypsy wagon packed, right? She's been on the journey, right? But she's the 9. It's like, I think my 10 is over that hill. The wanderer, right? Let me see what's over there. Let me get my fulfillment. I'm almost home. I'm almost there. I'm almost there to where I want to be. So there is some very, very close fulfillment of desire here in the emotional field, but with the mind, really, again, I'm going to say, because we've got, this is indicating air, this is in the position of air, that there's a bit of critical thinking going on, and perhaps a one-on-one emotional attraction-based relationship that you think would complete that journey from 9 to 10 of flames, full manifestation of desire. What's your spirit position, right? That to see everything through this lens, this Mercury retrograde. And we've got Shakti, the life dancer, the card of the world or the universe, right? So this is about the completion of a cycle. To see things from the ultimate universal point of view as, not that it's already done, that this situation is done. Not necessarily. We got some movement here. You've got you got a 6, a 2, but you have 2 9s I just saw. So though not a 10, really, if we were going to make this a number in the minor arcana, the card of the world or the universe would be a 10, so to speak, the completion of a cycle and the beginning of a new. This is really almost there, almost there, almost there. That's why, when you could say like, oh, this is a critical stage of the cooking process or a critical stage of the story, right? Where things are down to the minor details that could change things. So, interesting. Absolutely a good time to pull back, though. As much as you may want to race emotionally across the fields down the road to get to that, pull back, pull back, pull back. Remember, you have this great power of compassion. I just heard this, was this from Matt Kahn? I don't even remember. That thing of, let me be kind to myself, right? That, let me let go of the belief that I'm doing something wrong when I don't know. How about we just take the journey? That's being kind to yourself. And Capricorns, as earth signs alone, let alone ruled by Saturn, y'all can be very hard on yourselves to say, well, what if I try? What if I experiment being compassionate with myself by not immediately assuming for a day or 2 that I'm doing something wrong? How about I'm doing exactly what my higher self and my guides are telling me to do, and they're guiding me brilliantly and perfectly, and it's only my mind, my own critical mind, that's getting in the way of me thinking any different. Instead, let me be compassionate with myself. I'm doing the best that I can. And keep in mind, the divine plan has an immune system of sorts. Whatever we do, it's self-correcting. Don't worry about it. Don't worry yourself about it. Cool, cool. Very interesting. First 5 down. Let's ask the angels their celestial point of view. Again, nice deep breath in through the nose, out through the nose. One more, please. Still point. My angels, please, top 5 cards, element spread for this Capricorn collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign for this Mercury retrograde, February to March 2020, please. For my Capricorns here. Fire, Earth, Air, Water, Spirit, top 5 cards so that they can re-look at, revisit, review what they want, element of fire, what they have, element of earth, what they think, element of air, what they feel, element of water, and the viewpoint from which to rethink and review it from, element of spirit. Please, my angels, Maiden, Mother, Crone. There we go. I really don't even have to say it. They know why I'm here. They know why we're doing this, but gives me something to do while they order the cards. So first we're going to look at, what do you need to re-look at, review, have revealed here with this card of criticism Oh, a new beginning with the Nine of Blades. So if there is a new beginning with a strong emotional attraction going on, then that would make sense that there would be a little bit of obsessive thought, or at least critical thinking. Now, critical. If you're looking for something wrong to bail, you'll always find it. If you're looking for something to stay for, right? Give me a reason to stay. Usually you go a bit broader with that. But just be aware, if it's keeping you up at nights, that you've got this card of compassion, that everything is going to play out the way it's going to. You get to choose how you want to think about it, and where better than in a Mercury retrograde to take the time to slow things down and do exactly that. Now, some people will say, don't get into a relationship during a Mercury retrograde. Others I've heard, which makes more sense, don't get into any major relationships, commitments during a Venus retrograde. You don't hear as much about Venus retrograde. I mean, it's only the next planet out. It retrogrades as well. But I can see being a little Nine of Bladey about something new, a new beginning, a new potential that might be Two of Cuppy. Yeah, I get it. But let's keep in mind, there's a way of doing that is compassionate, and a way that is cruel to yourself. The worry, the fears, the what-if game. Because sometimes the what-if game, whether it's what-if negative or what-if positive, it's an escape, trying to escape from what you're actually feeling in the moment, which can be anxiety and fear and worry and passion and excitement, all mixed together, a perfect storm. So what do the angels have to say about this card of compassion? With ideas and inspiration connected there, it's like, it's okay for you to feel what you're feeling, but get that a lot of it is being triggered by or because of your focus. So is it inspired? Is it coming from someplace higher? Is it coming from love? Is it coming in a more compassionate way? Are these ideas, because remember, inspiration can be punch somebody in the face. You can be inspired to key somebody's car. That's not necessarily coming from your better angels. Are we agreed? I think we are. So to really kind of get that, the inspiration, what your soul, what you have available, the soul power, is to relax, right? Is to be emotionally relaxed, to cry if you need to cry, but to come into emotional balance, and perhaps to ask for the help that you need from others, or at least from your higher self, your gods, your goddesses, your higher power, whatever it is that you connect to in the divine. Because this new beginning might very well be everything that you want, but boy, can you... with this Two of Cups on the mind, if that is romantic, sexual, which it might be for some of you, not for others, that can be crazy making, right? It's just, this is the card. Your desire is getting a bit critical, a bit over-focused perhaps. So let's look at, what do the angels have to say about this Two of Cups celebration? You know, the thought of it, you want to celebrate. The thought of it feels like, oh my God, I've met the one. Well, sweetheart, we're all the one. There can only be one. I'm talking about the singularity of the divine, the quantum field, the supreme being that we all are as one, right? But you sort of get the idea there. There's a full moon in the sky in this card of celebration. This is something that you've probably worked for and waited for a while. There is a potential here of this new beginning really being celebratory. At least that's how you're seeing it in your mind. Now, let's be very clear. That celebration may be all in your head. And I hate to say that, but this is a Mercury retrograde we're looking at. Totally possible for us to have fabricated things, stories in our head. And I will always honor somebody's story. The psychological journey that you're on is how you're putting it together. But do you get, that's our primary way of creating reality, is giving ourselves the narrative to whatever is happening to us, that we get to choose. So even if it's like, hey, I don't know what this relationship is, but I'm going to celebrate it because it's a new beginning, and I'm going to be compassionate and give myself a break from overthinking or being so focused on this that other things that might need my attention fall away. You know what I'm saying. I mean, how do we know we're obsessed or overthinking? We forget to brush our teeth. We leave the house in our bedroom slippers, which I have totally done, standing at the bank going, well, at least they're loafer-ish, right? Moccasin-esque. Let's look at your element of water. This, not just moving on, like not like the 8 of Cups moving on, but that thing of the wander. It's like, but I'm almost there. If I can just, excuse me, can I just like right over there instead of really being satisfied? Because the 9s are very, they're complete. They're not all the way there, but there is something self-sufficient in them. The feeling of the desire alone for the adventure of it, which is what this now feels like there. I get that. That thing of, oh, but it could be, it's a new beginning, but oh, it could be so much, it's so exciting, sort of jumping ahead into the future. A Mercury retrograde is a good time to not necessarily dial that back emotionally, but get that, okay, well, they're saying, yeah, to bring it into harmony, right? To have it not be chomping at the bit, that grinding your gears, right? One foot on the gas with the other on the brake, right? It's like spinning your wheels, burning out your brakes, so to speak. To bring this into harmony, sure, celebrate the opportunity, but can you celebrate the opportunity regardless of outcome? Right? I'm willing to see things clearly no matter the outcome. It's one of the mantras from the Healing Mantra deck that, as a clairvoyant, fucking helpful, just gonna say. Yeah. Let's get your last angel card down to go with, really, from this point of view, to see things from the universe, from Shakti, the life dancer. And when this card comes up, I mean, it's too much for me to go into the mythology of the Hindu goddess Shakti, but if there's a reason she's on that card, right? Why they chose her for the last card of the Major Arcana, rebooting the series, so to speak, with the Dreamer, which is the card of the Fool in this deck. Look up Shakti and see why they call her the life dancer. Because what do the angels have to say about this one? Playfulness. That if you can see this from a more playful place, right? Because I get it. You've got this card. This is, whoops, almost thought I threw it off the table. This is so serious. This is so like, oh, right? Yeah, it's a new beginning, but there is nothing. There is nothing, but there is... There is no Dana, there is only Zool, right? Little obsessive there, Pooch. But then, you know, with this compassion, to be compassionate with your ideas and inspiration, that's going to definitely come from a place of saying, whatever this is, I'm at some final destination for myself in my own spiritual path, that I can make this new beginning less critical. I can just play along. Let's just see what happens. Let's give this some time. Like as if the divine timing card was here, it would be that indication of can't speed it up, can't slow it down. But I gotta tell you, everything's in divine timing, depending on the quantum threads we travel. And we don't choose those with the conscious mind. We choose that vibrationally, and it's not about keeping your vibration high. That may or may not change what dimensional paradigm you're in, what timeline, what thread of string theory, however you want to see that. It's very The Flash. It's very Crisis on Infinite Earths. But certainly it's determined by what's going to make your soul grow and evolve, and what better time than a Mercury retrograde to review all of that, and to really get the message with the card of the universe that you're in a really good place of completion on some level. To just play along, play the game, try and have fun with this a little bit. Don't be so serious, Capricorn. It's like telling a Virgo not to check their shopping list. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, is it? Let's get you one of these Chuck Spezzano love packs. 4 suits in this deck. The problem, the luck, the healing, and the grace. Let's see what you get from the masters. Nice deep breath. Still point. My masters, please. One card in clarity for this Capricorn collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign for Mercury retrograde, February to March 2020. Please, my masters, just an indication, something to help them, something to give them a clue, a tip, a hint about this Mercury retrograde that they should review, relook at, retrograde, something. Ah, love it. Lovely. We've got self-love. Revisit self-love. Renew yourself through self-love. Reconsider self-love. You know, and it's become, unfortunately, this idea of love yourself, a bit of a cliche because they never tell you how, right? It's like 2 words. It's like, forgive, 1 word. Yeah, thanks. Right? Self-love. Put your hand on your heart, breathe into it and go, honey, I love you no matter what comes and what goes. Talk to your heart like a child, right? That's inner child work. The anahata, unstuck the heart chakra. Just talk to your emotions. Think of them as your children. Love what rises inside of you. That is the 5th dimensional way through it. See feeling and emotion as part of your spiritual path because you've got a lot of it here. Be compassionate with yourself, with your ideas and your inspiration. Be kind to yourself with your ideas and inspiration. I think that's a pretty clear indication. And by the way, that is one of the healing suits within this deck. Lovely. Let's ask your higher self, shall we? What's going on with a Whisper of Love Oracle? Still point. The higher selves of all involved, there you are. Please, 1 card in clarity for this Capricorn collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign for this Mercury retrograde, February to March 2020. Please, just 1 card, a whisper of love for them. For this Mercury retrograde, February to March 2020. From your higher self, embrace your emotions. Don't push down your feelings or judge your emotions. No, love them. Just don't act on them. Just like if you're in obsessive crazy mode, don't go scoping and probing, which is like stalking. It is stalking, scoping and probing. Don't do drive-bys, right? And stay off Google, right? You have the opportunity to allow these emotions to love what rises within you without taking action. Retrograde, to re-feel, to revisit. And come on, what are we looking at here in your field of emotion? We've got that 9 of flames close, but the cigar is in reach, right? I'm almost there. The next card here, obviously, the 10 of flames, is the Hora Hava Nagila. I get the chomping at the bit part of that, but with harmony. It's like you have to bring that into a more gentle, harmonious wave, usually by getting space, even on a piano or really on any musical instrument. 2 notes right next to each other are dissonant. You need thirds, you need space, right? Let there be some space. You know, Eckhart Tolle talks a lot about that too in a bunch of his work about relationships, about allowing there to be space within, right? Your own interior space to feel that space of beingness, but to allow that space in our relationships as well, so that you can embrace your relationships, self-love, embrace your emotions, self-love, well, saying the ultimate relationship is to your own heart and your own emotions right now. And your higher self saying you can even be playful about that. That need not be such a traumatic experience, certainly a lot better than overcritical thinking about a new beginning of what if, grinding yourself to a fine dust, right? Let's get you a healing mantra card, shall we? Hold on 1 second. Nice deep breath. My ascended masters in the still point. Here you are. Okay, please, 1 card, a healing mantra card for this Capricorn collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign. For this Mercury retrograde, February 2020 to March 2020, please, my ascended masters, what is the ultimate perfect Mercury retrograde healing mantra to help them mentally, to help them emotionally, to help them physically, to help them spiritually heal? For this Mercury retrograde, Capricorn collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign, February to March 2020, Merc Ret. 1 side of the card is the name of the mantra, the other the mantra itself. You've got overcoming fear is the name of the mantra. Okay, the mantra itself, I will transcend every loss. I will transcend every loss. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's really no loss indicated here. But if that's the critical thing, if you've been dealing with the wound of loss or not dealing with the wound of loss, because who hasn't lost, right? That can be some emotional baggage there that, you know, can be very, very, very painful, particularly when something new comes in, because there is no dawn without dusk, right? The cycle of erosion and renewal, all that rises falls. It's just the nature of this world, right? Whatever comes goes, the ebb and flow of life, that there can be that thing of, well, if I'm afraid of loss, I will transcend. Of course we're afraid of loss, but that's the child, right? That is what needs to be loved, to embrace that fear of loss, knowing that I will transcend every loss. Overcoming fear, I'm going to read it from the book because this is a really good one. Who doesn't need this, right? And since it's a retrograde, what a perfect time to kind of use this mantra to go back over some stuff so that you have the momentum to move forward. And remember, with this card of the universe with playfulness, this may not be as traumatic and as hard as you think. Because you could get, you know what, let's just play the game. Let's see what happens. Ready? Let me read you from the bookie book. Overcoming fear. I will transcend every loss. When fear is overcome, you are able to rest in the resilience of your soul, no matter how frustrated or inconvenienced your ego seems to be. Frustrated, inconvenienced, like overthinking and being overcritical, perhaps? I don't know. You are able to embrace each obstacle and circumstance as life's auspicious way of helping you become the one you were always destined to be. Even through a Mercury retrograde when shit tends to go haywire, right? To get, okay, this is all happening for me, fine. I don't have to like it. But any loss that comes, I will overcome, right? In overcoming fear, every loss surely inspires a gain of insight for the evolution of your spiritual journey. And I find that to be 100% unequivocally, unconditionally true for every loss that I can think of that I've been through. And of course, Mercury retrograde is going to have me looking at my losses too, most likely, because we kind of need to. Also, keeping in mind, we're going to be the last day of Mercury retrograde when it goes direct is actually on a full moon of manifestation. So we'll be going into the waning part of the cycle then, right? So interesting paradox. This mantra is ideal for opening back up to life, healing chronic fatigue. That's an interesting one. And releasing cellular memories. I will transcend every loss. Let's give you your overview, shall we? Magic clap. We start you off with your element of fire here. 9 of Blades, criticism with new beginning. Absolutely that indication of a lot of overthinking, that there's a difference between reviewing something and being so critical that you can't get your mind off of it, where it kind of obscures other things that may be of import in your life. Understandable if that's what's going on, but with what you have right now, compassion with ideas and inspiration, to be kind to yourself, to give yourself breaks, to give yourself that 6 of Cups, that emotional, harmonizing, balancing experience through being kind to yourself, compassionate with others, and maybe perhaps reaching out and getting some emotional help, assistance, healing work with new ideas, inspiration. Always possible, and I think the ultimate way of allowing ourselves to experience compassion is often to surrender to the compassion from others when directed towards us. Not the easiest thing in the world to do for earth signs, because we're used to playing it the other way around, but if you can receive that, all the better, and that would certainly be a good retrograde thing. Considering in the mental field, we've got the Whirlpool, the 2 of Cups. This does feel a little romantic, but it's definitely a 2 of Cups, new beginning of some kind. But with celebration, it may feel really, really good. It might have met through a celebratory function of one way, shape, or form. But with that card of the 9 of Blades here, you want it so much. You want this beginning, this new beginning so much that it might be kind of throwing a cloud over the celebration of this Whirlpool. Considering that emotionally, you've got this oh, I'm not almost there. Oh my God, if I could only, right? And which, by the way, they're flashing the Nine of Wands in my head again from the Rider-Waite, that this could make you a little defensive, right? A little protective, which is fine to an extent. There's a difference between being protective and being defensive, perhaps. But with that card of the Wanderer, to get that, with that card of harmony with it, is you need to be a bit more gentle. You need to give more space. That the Nine of Blades here may not be serving you, although you do have Nine of Blades in fire and Nine of Blades in water. And since it's fire and water, they tend to cancel themselves out. So I would ease up on the Nine of Blades, the over-focusing, by using the compassion there, really to bring your emotions into harmony with your desires. And keep in mind the card of Spirit. You got Shakti, the life dancer, the card of the universe, the card of the world, with playfulness. That everything is going to work out well, but be playful. This need not be such a mental grinder, even though things certainly could slow down a pace, being that it is Mercury retrograde we're talking about here. All the while with self-love from the Master, saying you need to direct that energy towards yourself. If there is obsession here, if there are ideas and inspirations that you can do to be that you can utilize to be compassionate with yourself, be compassionate with your ideas. Even just saying, well, that's a possibility, and yes, that's a possibility. They're all a possibility. Let me relax into this, play the game, watch how this unfolds. Meanwhile, from the higher self, saying, embrace your emotions. Don't push your feelings down or judge your emotions. Giving yourself that harmony, that space, that compassion to feel what you're feeling without jumping to major conclusions. And if that fear of loss is there, I don't see why this mantra card of overcoming fear would have come up otherwise. To keep your mantra as I will transcend every loss, because the soul does transcend every loss. Even when we croak, we transcend it, we come back. Who knows where else we go in between lives, but certainly every loss we have ever experienced, we have transcended. And perhaps a little Mercury retrograde will give you some time to look over your shoulder and show you exactly how far you've come. So there we have it, my Capricorns. My slow and steady wins the race, climbing up the mountain one step at a time. My Capricorns, I adore you all so much. Wishing you the very best and the very blessed. Here, I'll give you the blessing. May the Capricorn Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury signs be blessed with everything that they need for this Mercury retrograde, to get this new beginning in a more playful way, to bring this journey, this completion of desire, into balance with harmony, to be compassionate with themselves and others, with ideas and inspiration, as they embrace their emotions in the celebration of this Two of Cups thing, that in the larger picture, to be playful with self-love, knowing that no matter what happens, I will transcend every loss. May they be blessed with all of this grace and all of this guidance to be the best that they can be, fulfilling their role in the divine plan. This Mercury retrograde, it's starting already, for their well-being and for the well-being of all. So mote it be, and so it is. Look at me working for you, my Capricorns. I love you all so much. Earth signs unite! Earth signs unite! Right, isn't that Earth sign from Avatar? Yeah. Last Airbender, not blue people. Wishing you all the very best and the very blessed, my Capricorn Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury signs. But for now, hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed, blessed be.